right, I guess they're done. All right, welcome back. As you can see, I have a guest with me in the shop today. Chris has kindly agreed to come help finally put these skins on the bottom of the wings. I guess you probably got tired of hearing me complain about it in like 8 videos in a row that
Yeah.
I've got no help.
Yeah,
You can
I know
see
it's been about a month of
leave, so.
yeah, it's been about a month of I'm gonna get these skins.
Eventually, they're gonna go on. Well, today is that day. We're gonna get at least this one on. We'll see how far we get. It doesn't look like it's gonna be fun getting arms up in some of these places, but we'll see how it's gonna go. I'm gonna get the GoPro set up here. We'll get the 360 set up. My son is leaving, so he's making all kinds of noise. Hopefully you don't have to hear that. And that's it. Let's actually do some work on an airplane. Welcome to VoiceOver Take 2. Got to learn to save more often. Anyhow, spoiler alert, we did not get all the way done. This was the learning process. This was easily the hardest thing I have done on this plane yet. Access was very limited, but let me give you the rundown of what's supposed to happen versus what we finally learned had to happen. The plans tell you that you need to rivet the trailing edge first. It tells you to go over, one bay, which on those first few you can tell they're really close together because that's the wing walk area. So there's 4 ribs right next to each other. So that's the hardest part of the whole thing to reach. But you're supposed to rivet over 1 bay, which is what we're doing. Then the very first rib, which is technically the second one because the first one you can reach with a squeezer, you rivet halfway down. Then you go to the next bay and you rivet halfway down that one. Then you bounce back and finish riveting all the way down the first rib that you started on. That's what the plans say to do to work in that L fashion all the way down. So as you jump ahead one more, you go halfway down the next rib, back up to the one you just did, go all the way down, and just keep going across that way. Seemed like a good idea, seemed like it would work out great. It absolutely did not. Not for us. What we figured out was once you rivet down that first rib, there's not enough flexibility left in that skin to pull it out and get your arm up in there to get any of the rest of it. It just doesn't work out. We tried everything we could think of, and yeah, we had issues with it. So, tell you what we did do here in a minute. First, you can see us, one of many breaks we had to take while we sat and discussed how we were going to do this, what we were going to do. Getting out the borescope inspection camera is also a great thing to have. I can't recommend it enough because it's the only way you're going to be able to get in there and see some of these rivets to make sure you actually set them correctly. Yeah, right here you see we're going halfway down the second rib. We haven't quite figured out that we have a problem yet. We've got the borescope out and we're just looking at some stuff there. By the way, this is the Insta360 view. I'm going to bounce back and forth a couple of times between this and coming up here, the GoPro view. Still figuring out the Insta360. I do like it. The editing of it is definitely a little more time intensive as far as computing power goes, as well as exporting it. But I will try and include it as much as I can. Anyhow, you can see we're still moving along, trying to follow the plan of working in this L fashion. We're going along the trailing edge of the next bay before we go backwards and finish that first row on the first rib. Now, had we thought this through, we could have very easily used Clecos to simulate those rivets being in to see if we were still going to have the kind of access we thought we were. But we really didn't do that. We just kind of committed to what the plan said, and it seemed like it was going to work. We got that first full row in, and it indeed did not work. And we're starting to kind of figure out here that, yeah, we're drilling out some more bad rivets. Yeah, I'll talk more about that here in a minute. because it becomes more prevalent on the second skin and what happened and how it happened. So the wife just got back and decided to see if we could enlist her help. Maybe we could get her skinny arms up in there. And even she couldn't get her arms all the way up where it needed to go with that first full rib riveted down. So now you see I'm drilling out half of those rivets. And that's ultimately what we learned is the real trick is do the trailing edge. Do the trailing edge first. So do the entire trailing edge spar while you have the most flexibility in the skin. Then start working your way halfway down the ribs from the trailing edge down. Once you get halfway down, you still have enough access now through the larger inspection holes in the ribs, or the inspection holes and then the lightning holes in the ribs, to go back in and do the rest of the way down along with the main spar. So it took some trial and error. It took us several hours to get to that point, but we finally figured it out. Once we got there, it was easier, but not totally easy. This whole endeavor yesterday took 7 hours, and yeah, we didn't quite get all the way through. And you can see we're just kind of going over some more rivets, using the borescope again. That thing was invaluable. So the problem we ran into, and this was mostly prevalent on that trailing edge, is when you pull the skin out like that to get your arm up there to put those rivets in, you have to be very careful that you're still holding the skin as flat as you can against the spar. In a couple of places, we managed to get the rivet to set between the skin and the spar, so it mushroomed out in between the two and it created a bulge. It was real easy to spot with the inspection camera when we went back through, so that was good. The downside is they're a real pain to get out once you get them in there, because you not only need to drill out the rivet, but you need to get that bulk out of the middle. So yeah, the hard part is just getting that bulged part out from in between the two once you do drill it out. And it happened to us a few more times. We finally got a good handle on it, I think. And we finally got into a rhythm, but it was still very tedious. My arms are very raw today from reaching into those skins in various places. Lots of bruises. Knees are bruised and sore. It was crazy. Can't thank Chris enough for spending all that time and coming over and helping me. It was really good having not only the second set of hands, but another builder who has an idea what's going on with this as well, so we could bounce ideas off of each other. And in the end, like I said, we finally came up with a process that kind of worked for us. So now that we got that kind of sorted, we're going back and now we can finish riveting down the row of ribs. The only other thing that was tricky to work around was that NACA vent. Kind of got in the way a little bit here and there. Not too terribly bad. Still very glad I installed it now. Trying to reach in there and get that installed would have been a real pain. I'm still not even sure how I'm supposed to get the hose on it later, but that's a problem for future Tim. The conduit, for people that are doing the same thing, did not get in the way like I thought it might. Had to work around it a little bit here and there, but it really wasn't that bad. If anything, the conduit towards the trailing edge and that tiny lightning hole actually kind of helped a little bit, because it gave me something to rest my hand up against when I was up in there with the bucking bar. So that was actually kind of handy. The bigger one down low, or the one down in the bigger holes down low, is more in the way, just because you got to reach through those holes, but there's still plenty of room to work around in there. So all in all, not bad at all. I'm very glad I have the conduit in there. I definitely wouldn't have wanted to try working around exposed wires with everything that was going on. You see, we're finally on to the second skin. Vans also tells you to leave that lap joint where the two skins overlap, not the part where they go over the rib, for the very last bit. And we looked at that, and you saw that part there where Chris got his hand up in there and bent it at a 90-degree angle to see if you can really actually get your arm all the way up in there. And it looks like you can. Haven't done it yet, so hopefully it works out. If not, there's always pulled rivets, I guess. That was the running joke of the day, was why not just put the whole bottom skin on with pulled rivets and make life so much easier? Anyhow, you can see we're going across that whole trailing edge now and just getting that all done up on this one from the lessons we learned on the other skin. Again, don't take everything we're saying for gospel. We're not experts. We're doing the best we can with what we got. This is just what kind of worked out for us. Downside is, got to do this 3 more times, technically. I've got 1 more wing to go, and I definitely owe Chris a solid, so I'm more than willing to return the favor and help him when it's time to do his. But man, it sucks knowing we got to do this 3 more times. I'm going to go back out there here in just a little bit and see if I can finish up what little is left. It's just the bottom half of the rivets on that last skin. I think I can reach them by myself now. So I'm going to go see if I can get those done, and obviously I'll record that so I can get another video out to you all. But I hope you enjoyed seeing this. Again, thank you so much to Chris for coming out and giving me a hand with this. Really, really appreciated. It was nice getting to spend the day hanging out with him, swapping stories. Good times. And if you haven't, go check out our podcast. It's available on Apple now as well as Spotify. I'll try and get the links and add them to this video if I can. We're going to record the next episode, I believe, tomorrow sometime. So be sure you stick around for that. And as always, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. And I will see you all in the next one.